All right, let's go. The red light is on. It's Wednesday night. It's a UFC week. L. Dawson, Dave Van Hawkins, Ben and Bananas. What's up, L? How are you?
I'm in a weird mood, Dave. I think it's past my bedtime, so it's gonna get weird in here today. I don't know. It's gonna get weird.
I love that. I love that. Let's go. That's especially betting. Sometimes you can get weird betting, but let's do this. All right. They're off next week, and then the following week there's a big show in Newark. I don't know if you know about it, L. Dawson. It's UFC 302. Maybe there's a really great prelim on it with your husband, and maybe Dustin Poirier's in the main event versus Makhachev. But this is the last card for 2 weeks, so let's kind of give it all we got. We got Edson Barboza versus Laron Murphy in the main event. Like that a lot. The couple other fights at the main card I'm iffy about. There's a couple others. I think Adrian Yanez is going to be a really good fight. But then we talked about it off air. We'll talk about it. 3 female fights. A lot of stuff to get into. So I'll let you lead the way. You best bet, underdog, 8-fight parlay, whatever you want to do, Al. You take it away.
Yeah, let's start with the parlay. We never do that. Let's kick it off with the parlay.
Let's go.
All right, so I'm gonna open up my parlay with Emily Ducote to win by unanimous decision. You made a face. Is that you agree or are you?
No, Vanessa's my underdog on the card.
Really?
I like Vanessa in this spot. She's a
I
good
like
underdog to me.
I like Vanessa a lot, but style-wise, she just does not match up well against Emily Ducote. Ducote dealt with Lupita Godinez's wrestling really, really well. And I think Lupi is a far superior wrestler. While Vanessa has great jiu-jitsu, I just don't think she has the level of wrestling that Lupi has. And I think she's really going to struggle to take Emily down here. Emily throws a lot of volume. She's really clean with her striking. She's not a big finisher. She's not super exciting. And so I think she gets overlooked a lot. But and I think the UFC threw her to Angela Hill and Lupita Godinez a little bit too soon because she's not exactly a spring chicken. Like Emily's been around a long time. But I don't think that's necessarily a detriment here in this fight, especially considering, we think of Emily Ducote as not being a spring chicken. She's actually 5 years younger than Vanessa Demopoulos.
When you threw that out there, I was going to throw that out there, El. Like Vanessa, she does a lot. She's got a great gimmick and her personality, and the jumping into the arms of the winner. She's no spring chicken. Like she was in LFA for a long time. She was on the regional show. She wasn't even a mixed martial artist for a long time.
Both these girls were on the regional scene for a minute, and Emily Ducote has some really tough fights in Invicta as well. And I think that she took some tough fights earlier on, and that's why it took her a while to get to this point. But man, I just think her style, the low kicks, the stiff jab, the good range control, being the taller fighter, I feel like Vanessa's really going to struggle to get the fight to the mat, and I just don't see her winning this on the feet. I don't think she can make it dirty enough to win a striking match against Emily here. So I really like her by unanimous decision. My second leg, I'm going to take Angela Hill versus Luana Pinheiro to go the distance. You thought I was going to take Angela Hill.
No. I knew you were going to take Angela Hill.
But I think this fight's going to go the distance.
Okay.
When is Angela Hill not going to the scorecards?
Never happened.
This fight's going to go to a split decision.
Yeah.
It's going to be super messy and close, and that's why I'm not picking a winner here. I feel like both these girls, like Luana Pinheiro is super tough. She is well-rounded. I honestly am leaning Hill a little bit here just because I think this is where she tends to thrive. Like these girls that they beat like some of the lower level girls in the division, and then they take a step up to Angie Hill, and they just this is where the buck stops, I've noticed that happen with a lot of other girls as well. Obviously, Pinheiro's also...
Get that. I'll get that, Joe, in a second.
What's up? Oh.
You could.
But she's also obviously coming off of the loss to Amanda Hebos. That was like a competitive fight before she got finished as well. So it's... I don't know. I'm back and forth on it. I think Pinheiro absolutely can win this fight, but either way, this fight is going to decision. Neither of these girls are finishing the other. So that's like
Yeah.
probably my
No, I
safest
agree.
parlay leg, in my opinion, on the whole show. And then third leg of this parlay, I'm actually really excited for this fight. I have Adrian Yanez beating Vinicius Salvador, and I
Such a good
don't like this
fight.
matchup for Salvador. It's his first fight at 135, and his first fight is Adrian Yanez. Like, Adrian Yanez is
Insane.
tough as nails. Salvador doesn't have a single win in the UFC yet. We saw him get dropped multiple times by Victor Altamirano, who is a very small flyweight. I definitely feel like Salvador's his advantage in the CJ Vergara fight, which obviously he still lost that fight, but what helped him out some and him not taking a lot of damage, I think, was just his length. And he loses that length moving up to bantamweight and fighting a long guy like Adrian Yanez. Adrian Yanez has only lost to Rob Font and Jonathan Martinez. Like, he is a really, really well-rounded guy. He's got really crisp striking. I think Salvador's kind of funky, loose style leaves him really susceptible to guys who are quick and have a really quick jab, and that is Adrian Yanez. So I just feel like this is a great setup for him. If you're feeling a little juicy, Adrian Yanez by KO TKO is a little more sauce, but I could also see him winning just a really solid decision with Salvador, getting dropped a bunch and but not quite getting finished, because he is tough.
I like that. I like it. I Yanez is probably one of my favorite plays on the whole card. Veteran, been there so many times, fought high level. Like you said, remember last week's co-main event, I felt Boisioff was the better fighter than Buckley, like skill for skill, but this was his first time coming down. I had to see it. I didn't like any line on that bet. Same thing with this one. It's like, I got to see Salvador in this spot to like hammer him or don't touch him at all. So if you tell me which way, one over the other, I'm going to go with Adrian Yanez, just a veteran of the sport. I don't know. Like, he's always on millions. Like, to me, fighters that are in the game and is podcasting or talking about it, like, I like guys like that. That means I know you're all in. You know what I mean? Like, they love the sport. Yeah, they live it. So I like that. Okay, real quick, what's the third female I fight? Because I thought you were gonna go all three female fights here.
It's Melissa Gatto and
Tamir Rodriguez.
Tamir. What is her? I always forget how to say her name. I was literally just looking at Vildas is her last name. Vildas is how you say it. Tamirez Vildas. I like Melissa Gatto there, but the money line is huge. She's a huge favorite, and I can't decide if she's going to finish her, because she could finish her or she could win a decision. I was kind of considering throwing Melissa Gatto by unanimous decision into my parlay, but I'm not super confident in how the fight ends. I do think Gatto will win, but she's like a -400 favorite. So I didn't want to ruin the value of the parlay, by throwing in a super heavy favorite. But if you guys want that pick, like, Melissa Gatto is a great play, great parlay piece for sure.
All right. I like it. I like the start of this already. We're 8 minutes in, a lot on the bone for sure. All right. You want to go with your best bet on the board, L. Dawson, or you want to do an underdog play?
Let's go best bet. Let's go best bet. My best bet is going to be Abus Magomedov to win by KO TKO over Warlley Alves. Warlley is on a 3-fight skid. I think he's past his prime. He's definitely a fast starter. Like, there's some danger to get past at the beginning of that fight, like, for sure, for Abus. Like, Abus has to be careful, but Abus is also a fast starter, and his issues in the past have been his cardio, which I do think was much improved against Caio Borralho. So I think he definitely has addressed that. But it's also like Warlley Alves is going to get tired with Abus Magomedov. So I feel like that's not something we necessarily need to worry about. And I think Abus is still dangerous in round 2, while Warlley is not necessarily. I don't like him at middleweight. I think he's only at middleweight because he's older and it's harder for him to cut to welterweight. Like, this guy got knocked out by James Krause at 170. I don't think that this is the right move for him. Obviously, his first fight at middleweight was Ikram Alaskarov. Super tough
first fight. Yeah,
like, terrible first fight at middleweight. I can be like, you can't fault him for that knockout loss, but I just feel like Abus has the length and the size and the power, and I feel like the UFC realizes they gave Abus Magomedov too much too soon in Sean Strickland and Caio Borralho, and they're like, hey, here, let's take care of you, man. This is just a great fight for him matchup wise. As long as he can weather that early storm from Warley Alves, I think round 2 KO TKO is coming.
Yeah, I love that. I'm trying to find the over under. It's got to be 1.5, right? Because that fight is not going the just like
Yeah.
it's.
No, I agree. Honestly, that's a great play too. If you're on the Warley side, yeah, just take the.
Yeah. All right.
Is
So
it
I just found it. So under 1.5 is minus 135. Like, I love that.
That's good. That's a good value.
Yeah.
I missed this question from Joe. Does Salvador get cut with an L? He might. It depends. Every weight class is so different. Like, 135 though, like if it was flyweight, I'd be like, yeah, he'd probably get another chance. But now he's at 135, and we know he can't make flyweight. The UFC would depend how upset the UFC is that he missed weight against CJ Vergara, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he gets cut with an L, but that's just my gut feeling,
Yeah.
But
if he was a middleweight, he definitely wouldn't get cut. So I know that.
or a heavyweight. You can be 46 years old and 2-7. It's keep them coming.
They need them heavyweights.
Yeah, they need them heavyweights. All right, so there we go. We got best bet Abus Nurmagomedov. I like that. Your underdog play. I think I know where you're going. You're a you're a loyalist. You are you sometimes bet with your heart. There's this underdog American top team veteran future UFC Hall of Famer in the main event. Am I onto something here?
You definitely are. I got to take my guy Edson Barboza, man.
Yes.
And
yes.
It's not just because he's the nicest dude ever. Did you see that interview of Dan Hooker talking about Edson and how much he hates Edson? And I was like, what the heck? Edson's like the nicest guy ever. And then Dan Hooker's like, no, it's just because he beat the piss out of me. Like, he's like, I text him like every couple months and I'm like, F you.
Yeah.
Because Edson's he's the man. Super friendly guy. Great dude. But man, like you said, he is just a veteran of the sport. And I don't know about you, but if it was my first main event, my first 5-rounder in the UFC, I don't want to be fighting Edson Barboza. It doesn't matter how old Edson Barboza gets. It doesn't matter like how many wars Edson Barboza has been in. He doesn't go away. Over 5 rounds, over 25 minutes, Edson Barboza is the same fighter. And if anything, he gets better as the fight goes on. And this is a huge step up for Lerone Murphy. Lerone Murphy has some really good wins under his belt. Josh Kulabau is a really talented young fighter. Douglas Silva de Andrade, very talented, and honestly kind of a veteran, but not at the level that Edson Barboza is. That is a massive step up for the featherweight division. And Edson showed that he can outvet these young athletic fighters, just like he did with Sadiq Youssef.
I was going there.
Man, and not that Sadiq and Lerone are necessarily super similar style-wise, but they have some similarities. Like, they're both very explosive athletes.
And real quick, let me interrupt you, El, and ask you a question and then keep going. If this fight, just say 3 months ago, before UFC 300, and we saw what Diego Lopez did to Sadiq, if Sadiq was fighting Lerone Murphy in a fight night main event 3 months ago, I would per se that Sadiq would be the betting favorite.
Right.
I really think he would be the odds-on betting favorite. And
maybe, yeah. He's been around longer, so I could see it. If it was pre the Diego Lopez fight, I actually think Murphy would beat Sadiq.
Okay.
I do, especially over 5 rounds. That would actually be a really fun fight.
That's a good fight.
That is a really good fight. I like Murphy a lot, and I think that he's going to have his moment. I just don't think it's going to be Saturday. This is just such a big test, and I think Murphy's one of his biggest benefits is his like unpredictability. Like, we've seen him kind of start off. He started off as this like really good boxer, and then he added some elements to his game, and now we've seen him wrestle some, and this unpredictability against these younger guys has been really beneficial for him because people just don't know what to expect every time they fight him. He brings a new skill. Edson Barboza's seen everything. And I think that you have to be a really high level grappler like Bryce Mitchell to fight Edson really, really well. Like, not a whole lot of guys are losing a striking match to Edson Barboza. And he's not going to get tired. He's not going to go away. He has so much experience over 5 rounds. I'm honestly surprised to see him as an underdog. The lines are very close, so I'm like, okay, I can see why they are the way they are. Lerone, people are really high on Lerone, as they should be. He's a really, really talented guy, but I just think this is a little too much too soon for him.
I agree. It's a big jump. Like, you know, and this is what the UFC does. Like, it's a guys, it is not a friendly environment there. It is the, you know, it's the forest for sure. It's the wildlife. It's sink or swim. And these guys all the time, you win a couple fights in a row, 3, 4, 5 fights in a row, and then you do get that veteran, you know, lion who's been there before, who's defeated other lions and has defeated younger lions. And it's which of, you know, is Murphy going to pass the test, or is he going to be 20 to 28 for the foreseeable future?
Like, listen to these names. Like, Edson Barboza, we obviously just beat Sadiq Youssef and Billy Quarantillo. Before that, he fought Bryce Mitchell. Before that, he fought Giga. Before that, Shane Burgos. Before that, Emir Khani. Before that, Dan Ige, Paul Felder, Justin Gaethje, Dan Hooker, Kevin Lee, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Beneil Dariush. And that's like, I'm not even halfway through the list. Like, he's fought everyone. This is like, he's kind of like almost one of the Bobby Greens of this division, you know, like where he's just been around so long, or the Dustin Poirier, they've been around so long and they've constantly stayed at the like middle to the top of that division because they fought everybody.
Yeah. 2 things real quick about Edson Barboza. One is he maybe had the greatest Instagram reel in Fight Bananas history. So much respect to Edson Barboza. All right, that's one. 2 is I don't know if you saw on Media Day today, someone asked him about, you know, what fight next or something of that nature. He has fought 29 times. This will be the 29th time in the UFC. His 30th fight, he says he would love a BMF fight against Max Holloway. Like, how cool is that? Like, he said it, and I know, like, Max has probably got some big things. And
nobody calls out Max.
Yeah, like, who calls out Max Holloway?
Yeah. Mike Cano did a podcast, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't want to fight that guy." Like, who calls out Max Holloway? Yeah, that's how much.
Oh, L. Dawson first.
Stud Edson is. I wonder if he like. I know everybody gets like freezing again. Computer does that again. What it did yesterday, it like just died on me. Oh no. Okay.
No,
I think we're good. Are we good?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, Edson Barboza, absolute stud. Yeah, I'm pumped. I that is the intriguing fight. Sometimes we say it all the time. The best fight sometimes is not the main event. To me, this is like the main event. I cannot wait to see who wins and how they win. If Barboza wins and he wins it impressively, the world's his oyster. Like, he can have a really, really big time fight. If Murphy wins, that is amazing for him and his career going forward. I would assume
there's no going back either. It's almost like when you're a young guy and you do, especially if he like just catches him, like he catches Barboza early and it, like we didn't get to really see how he would do in like a longer fight. That's scary for a young guy like that, because once you beat a guy like Barboza, like there's no you don't go backwards from that ever. Like, now you're fighting top 10 for the rest of your career. Like, you better be ready, you know?
Especially in that division. Like, who does he fight next? Josh Emmett?
Oof. Yeah, big steps up. All of them are big steps up. And if he's ready, he's ready. But if he's not, that's a tough road, you know?
Tough. There we go. All right. L. Dawson killed it. Emily, unanimous decision. Hill and what's her last name? Robinson?
Pinheiro.
Oh yeah, Pinheiro, a decision. Adrian Yannis as a win. Best bet, Abus Nurmagomedov, TKO, KO. Love that. I love that. And guys, I like the under 1.5. That might be one of my favorite bets on the whole card. Minus 135 on the under of Abus. And then your underdog play, Edson Barboza in the main event. I've been calling this, guys. Maybe I messed up. I've been calling this UFC Vegas 93 all week. Is this UFC Vegas 92? Am I wrong?
I thought it was 93.
Me too. I saw a site that said 92, and I feel like now I'm like,
oh, it is I think it is 92.
All right, my guys, my
My
fault.
bad.
My
No,
fault.
me too. Me too.
All week long.
They're
All
hard to
week
keep.
long.
It's hard to keep track.
Dude. Yeah. So I'm done
But
with these guys.
is this
Let's
a
go back
girl
to
fight?
St. Louis. In the summer, I like they got Louisville on the docket.
Ooh, that's interesting. Did we miss a girl fight? I think there's actually a fourth girl fight.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
a Pierre Rodriguez, the girl who just lost to Jillian.
Yep. She's fighting Ariane Carnelosi, the old bulldog girl. She's thicker than a Snicker.
She's what?
Thicker than a Snicker. She's shortened.
That's a video.
Jacked out of her freaking mind.
That's a video.
Her biceps are like twice the size of mine. Anyway, yeah. So there actually are 4 female fights on this card.
That's good. Good. Shout out to the people. It was Mother's Day, this past Sunday. They're like, hey, we're paying it forward. We're giving somebody on. Awesome, guys. All right, we're out of here. Great week, guys. Tuesday was phenomenal. Our live show. If you haven't watched it, go back to watch it. We got the Calvin Cater interview just by itself. It's out there. This morning, we did Boxing Bananas for the very first time. We already got like a new co-host coming on that show. That show is moving fast. We got some really good love in that. Laughing my up was nice. But yeah. Logan, I'm agreeing with you. Like, L's lied this thicker than a Snicker.
I told you that it was going to get weird tonight. So
this is like the shortest show we've done in a long time. I almost want to keep it going because I know you will give up some gospel coming up soon. So, but we'll let it go. Tomorrow, I don't think we have anything. Friday, we might have MMA weekly or no, dude, I'm traveling Friday. So maybe no roundup. We'll see.
No.
Maybe you have to do it with
I'll have to find a different buddy.
A special
weekly roundup.
Special host. Maybe you have to get someone that rides with Dan Doja.
I haven't even seen him. I need to get
I'm gonna keep on saying it until it happens.
We should I'll have Moicano come do an MMA weekly roundup with me. That'd be fun. That would get weird.
He's in Vegas right now doing
he's grappling. I wonder he's probably flying back on Friday because the grappling is
right now.
Right. So yeah.
Cool. All right. Guys, we're out of here. L called a fighter thicker than a Snicker. Go watch it back. We appreciate you guys.
It was all love.
Yeah. We'll see everyone next week here on Bet and Bananas, and we'll see everyone, if not Friday, Tuesday back